My question is to Bish Johnson. I'm really concerned because when you mention how processes should go through and how the president should have, for instance, declared a state of emergency. If he had declared a state of emergency to fight Boko Haram in the northeast and also the farmer-herders clashes in the middle belt of the country, will that suffice for the president to use his executive powers, declaring a state of emergency in which he can now go into the ECA to spend that $1 billion? Would that be appropriate?
No, Dimba, I think you are misquoting me here. I have never suggested that the president should declare a state of emergency. Instead, what I have said is that if these platforms or funding that we are talking about is an emergency situation, therefore we cannot wait for the 2018 budget to be passed, what the president should have done is to put up a bill. I know that in the United States it's called the Emergency Defense Spending Bill. He should have put that up and send it to the National Assembly so that the National Assembly can look at it. The reason why National Assembly has to look at it is that they are the people's representative. They are the custodian of the people's money, okay? So that way that this money can be matched line item by line item so that at the end of the day there can be proper accountability. Can you hear me? Dimba, you and I are in this country. This is a country that everybody in the world, and even us who are in this Nigeria, we have agreed that we are very corrupt.
Let me just quickly butt in here. Perhaps you didn't understand my question. My question to you is that if Mr. President had declared a state of emergency to fight against the Boko Haram in the northeast and the farmer-herders clashes in the middle belt of the country, would he have relied on his executive powers as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to go into the ECA and spend the money? Will that be appropriate?
No. He can't. He can. Now, but this is a hypothetical question. If the president had declared of a state of emergency, which he has not. Now, but coming back to your question is, look, no president spends money. No president appropriates money. The People's Congress appropriates money. The only time the United States president has the power to spend money without congressional approval is if America is under attack. There's a threat to the national security of the United States of America. That is only when the commander-in-chief can go to war. And he must report back to the Congress within 30 days of that war. Otherwise, that war will be terminated by the Congress. That is to tell you that the founders of this democracy put in proper checks and balances so that you don't abuse the system.
Now, just a moment, Captain, if I may come in here. Does it make any difference? Because we listened to the president's spokesperson, Femi Adesina, say that if, well, he was talking to the people who were criticizing the president, saying that if they had been patient a little, they would have known that this thing was actually going to the National Assembly. So it doesn't make a difference now
it does
that this is going, that yes, the president, what he says is that it has followed the process it ought to follow. It has been brought to the governors. They have approved. They have given the approval. The president has given his approval, and it's going to the National Assembly.
No, the process is wrong on arrival. The president does not give approval. The president gives assent after he has gone to the National Assembly and debated at the National Assembly, and there's up and down vote at the National Assembly. And forget this nonsense about the governors. The governors themselves too cannot appropriate any state fund. The funds at the state level have to be appropriated by the state houses of assembly. You see, we are letting the cart before the horse.
Okay, just a moment.
The debate has to go on at the state assemblies.
Captain, please just hold your thoughts now. I think that Gimba, beg your pardon, Nyota has a question for you.
It's actually Gimba. Thank you. But let me get through to you on this, Honorable. This is a president, with all due respect, that has, at a point where we were discussing the restructuring agenda, said that processes were the problems that we face as a country. Do you not feel that perhaps the processes to getting an approval for the president to assent to by the National Assembly has been largely neglected by the president in the build-up to getting this $1 billion approval?
Well, first of all, I would like to, you have a question to my friend. The fact of the matter is that even if the president were to declare state of emergency, the state of emergency will lapse after a few days if there is no approval of the two chambers of the National Assembly. The president cannot by himself declare a state of emergency. A state of emergency will have to be approved. Indeed, President Jonathan declared a state of emergency the last time in the Northeast, and the National Assembly refused to give their approval. That is just by the way. On the issue of this president and the National Assembly, I'm surprised that the advisors of the president are taking him through this route. This president is one president that has received the best cooperation that any National Assembly will give to any president since 1999. Obasanjo did not have the cooperation of the National Assembly the way this president has. Jonathan did not have. President Yar'Adua did not have. So it's surprising that this thing that started such a long time, I think since last year, the president would simply have sent the bill to the National Assembly. That he did not do that all this time shows that actually there was an intention to abridge the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The point is that, first, like I said, the local governments will have to give consent of whatever funds belongs to them from the excess crude fund that will be used. The state houses of assembly will have to give consent. And when it comes to, when those monies have been acknowledged at the federal government, it means that they are donations to the federal government. And then the federal government's part of the resources will now be brought to the National Assembly. You cannot just wake up and say, yeah, they are going to, like I was surprised, I'm hearing that new platforms are going to be bought, this one will be done, this one will be done. The National Assembly, I should know, I'm not aware of it. And where you are already buying, gone ahead to do what you need, what you want to do, before you send a letter to the National Assembly, you create the tension that is not necessary. Because, like I did say, this president has received the best form of cooperation with any National Assembly, especially in the House of Reps, since we started democracy in 1999. We've not had that. We've not had that.
Honorable Member, I just want to take you back to my original question, which has not been answered, which is why, in your estimation, do you believe that the Buhari administration has not gone through a conventional process in terms of shaping the defense budget to enable some of these items to be procured?
Well, the fact of the matter is that we operate an envelope system of the budget presently. And the envelope system of the budget, for instance, the army, which I oversight, has about 20 billion naira in 2018 budget for capital. That is for army barracks, for equipment, and the rest of them. Last year, they had 19 billion or so. And I think about 50% of it was released.
Honourable, we're totally out of time. I'm so sorry that we have to close the segment now. Thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily. Honourable Remande Shawulu is a chairman, House Committee on Army. And we also had with us Captain Bish Johnson, who is a security consultant. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily. The program will continue shortly with another topic. Please stay with us.